I'm Mark Pitchers, wader wearing, tea drinking, beard trimming carp freak. I've been an angler for over 30 years and I've caught carp from waters far and wide, big and small. For me, it doesn't matter where, as long as the challenge is exciting and inspiring. But now the tables have turned and it's over to you, the public, to assign my next mission on Fox's Facebook page.
It's not exactly the easiest challenge, is it?
Rivers and lakes, rigs and baits.
You fell to the cat meat.
There's been a number of incredibly tough challenges during this series. Have you been drinking de-icer again? Some of which I've knocked out the park.
Challenge completed.
Others have dealt me a devastating blow. But I'm still here and ready to pick up any gauntlet that is thrown down. This carp freak is not giving up without a fight. This is the challenge. What's up carp freaks, it's challenge time again and this is challenge number 11. As you can see, it's quite a lot warmer since the last time we were out. Maybe it's a little bit too warm actually, which I'll tell you about in a bit. Anyway, this challenge comes in from Paul Granger. It's actually very similar to a challenge we've already done. It was the top, middle and bottom challenge, episode 2. Obviously you had to catch on the surface, mid-water and on the bottom. I actually failed that one, which really hurt. And this one's actually even more difficult this time round. This is the top to bottom challenge, starting on floaters and working your way down through the depths. Floaters to start, then zigs, onto chods or pop-up rigs, and then a bottom bait. I didn't actually say I've got to catch anything, so I reckon this is actually quite a doable challenge, but I'm guessing I probably do have to catch a carp on all these methods. I say size doesn't really matter too much on this challenge. The simple fact, it covers all aspects of carp fishing. And if I complete this challenge, Paul goes on to say, he'd like me to set Harry a mini challenge. I just think it'd be so good to see Harry through the viewfinder for once, as he brings so much to the party time and time again. Lol. I totally agree. I totally agree. So I said I think it may be a little bit too warm. If you come over here with me, I'll show you why I think that's the case. Well, here we are at Manor Farm Fisheries in Biggleswade, Bedfordshire. And this is the scene we've been greeted with as we've walked up to the lake. The fish are in full-on spawning mode. There's every position of the Carp Sutra going on there. Harry's been watching on intently. He's learned a trick or two. And in the interest of fish safety, there's no way we're going to be fishing for spawning fish. It's not an ideal situation that we found ourselves in. We've rang around a few other fisheries in the surrounding counties where I feel this challenge would also be passable, and it's exactly the same over there. Fish are spawning. So unfortunately we have no option but to postpone and then regroup in a few weeks' time when the fish are feeling a little bit less frisky.
Well, it's been 4 weeks since we were here last, so hopefully all that sexy time has finished. Even I don't take that long, but it is a lot cooler than when we were here before, so it's certainly not as favourable for fishing on the surface. But I have had a walk around the main carp lake, and there's a few fish in the upper layers in a sort of a sheltered area on the end of the wind. This is the peg where I've seen the majority of the fish. So I just want to get cracking, start sticking in a few floaters, hopefully get fish feeding, then we can get one caught and get one under our belt. Well, I've been feeding the swim for probably about 15 minutes now. The birds have suddenly joined us. So I'm actually baiting 2 different areas, one slightly to the right and one off to the left. I find the birds seem to congregate on one area of bait at a time. Once one starts taking, all the other birds join in. So it should leave us with a quiet area where the fish can sort of feed undisturbed, which is exactly what's happening now actually. If you look to the right of the peg, there's no birds there and there's 3 or 4 fish taking floaters. So that's worked. These are taking fairly confidently now, not quite confidently enough for me to make a cast, but hopefully it won't be too long. Well, before I make a cast, I thought I'd quickly go through the setup that I'm going to be using. The main line is the 12-pound surface, and that comes down to the extra large bolt bubble. Although these fish are only taking at sort of 30-yard range, the reason I like to use the extra large is it enables me to cast well beyond where the fish are feeding and then slowly retrieve the float and the rig and place it right in amongst the feeding fish, and it means there's no disturbance whatsoever. Coming down from that, I have the 12-pound zig and floater hook link, and that comes down to a size 10. It's a prototype hook, it's a zig and floater hook, and I've just got a little piece of the fine hook silicone over the eye there just to ensure the line exits the hook totally straight and it doesn't close the gape, which can sort of restrict the hooking potentials. And I've just got a soft floating pellet on there, and that's just sort of hair rigged off the back of the shank, and I do that by whipping down the shank half a dozen times, kicking the hair out and then whipping below it, and that means that the hook actually runs sort of alongside the pellet. And I always think if a fish is viewing the hook bait from below, that the hook itself will be sort of masked by the shadow, by the silhouette of the hook bait, just making everything a lot less detectable. So that's how I see it all working. Hopefully it will do the business. Instant pass if I catch the orange one. Yes! Come on, the orange one. I haven't caught an orange thing, I don't think, before. I don't think so. I've had a golden off, especially when it was in my garden pond. When my dad was out, went down fishing for it. I said when my dad went out, I was only about, I don't know, about 8. My dad went out and went fishing in the garden pond. I had a couple of off, a shabunkin, and as you saw there, the bite was pretty explosive. The float did its job, and on what's probably my 4th cast, I think, something like that, playing a fish. This is good, I'm enjoying this. Do I have to come off the floaters though?
Yeah, that's the rule.
So I'm using a really soft action rod here. It's a 2 1/4 pound test curve, and it really does cushion everything when I'm using the smaller hooks and the finer diameter lines. Just acts as a big shock absorber, cushions any lunges, prevents hook pulls and breakages. Plus, it's a load more fun to play the fish on as well. Just in case the worst situation does happen and the hook does pull and we end up losing this fish, it's important to keep that bait going in, keeping them fish feeding. And the beauty, of course, of using a throwing stick over a catapult is that you can do it one-handed whilst you're playing fish. And as you can see there, as I'm playing them, they're still feeding in front of me. Here he comes. Yes, that's it. We are up and running. Only been fishing less than 10 minutes, got one in the bag, really early doors. Which I think to pass this challenge was really what I needed to do. We're only here for 36 hours. And I think the windows of opportunity to catch on the top, within the water column, pop up and bottom, I think they're only going to be small fleeting chances. So to get a fish really quickly like this, I think puts me in great contention. Right, let's have a closer look at him. Well, I think it's fair to say that this challenge has got off to the best possible start. 10 minutes angling, and here we are with a nice clean looking common of around 12, 13 pound. But I'm not going to dawdle, I'm going to slip him straight back because there are still loads of fish feeding out in front of me. And I think if I slow down on them floaters, them fish will drop down a foot or two and they'll be absolutely prime for a zig. So that's what I'm going to do now.
So you're going to do that in this swim? Have a go for him?
Well, obviously.
On the zigs? In here?
Obviously, there's absolutely loads of them out there, yes. Why?
I don't... There's a lot of lakes here, aren't there? Why don't you try a different one?
Because there's absolutely loads of fish here.
I think you need to try a different one. I think after every fish, every method that you catch on, you should change lakes because...
Is that what you think?
Well, this is all going to be a bit easy. You'll have one in another 10 minutes in this swim, I think.
Is that what you think, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I thought after last time you'd go a bit easy on me, considering last time you absolutely stitched me up. So I can't fish in here is what you're saying?
No, after every fish that you catch, you can't carry on that lake. You have to move lakes.
Does it say that in the actual challenge suggestion, or is this just your sort of sick, twisted, warped personality shining through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can argue about, really. People will come to learn that this is the sort of thing that happens.
Well, luckily, time at the moment is on my side. So, yeah, whatever. So now Harry's hit me with his new stipulation. I'm going to pack down what little kit I unloaded out the van, and I'm going to go and have a bit of a tour of some of the other lakes on the site. Like Harry said, there's actually quite a few lakes to choose from. So I'm hoping I'll be able to find a similar situation to what I found here, where there's a big group of fish milling around just under the surface. And then hopefully we can tempt one on a zig. Well, it wasn't really happening over on Beck's Lake. There was a few fish taking floaters, but not enough really to warrant fishing for. So I'll put the kit in the van and I'm going to go and make my way over to Damsel Lake. Hopefully we can find a few fish in the upper layers, and yeah, we can nab one on the zig. I don't really know already. I'm just going to go down.
I mean, that is more or less it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
to be honest with you,
yeah,
just
see what happens.
yeah, quite honestly, that's it. Right. Well, I've made my way over to Damsel Lake, and I've picked a swim that's once again sheltered from the wind. And you can see in this sort of area of calm water, there is actually quite a few fish sort of moving around in the upper layers. The plan is to spot out a nice, sloppy, cloudy, nutty ground bait, and hopefully the fish will home in on the noise of the spod and the cloud of bait, and we'll be able to pick them out on zigs as they feed in amongst that attractive cloud. That's the plan anyway. So let's get mixing some of this ground bait up. Just add it little bit at a time until it achieves the right consistency.
What is the right consistency?
Well, I'll show that when it happens, Harry. Really. Well, I finally got the desired consistency, and it's a bit like runny porridge, I guess. Almost like a stodgy soup. You see when I drop it into the edge, which is off a lovely white, milky cloud that the fish just home in on, hopefully. So he's tied up 2 yellow zig liners. One is set to fish 2 foot under the surface, and one 18 inches. So that's my starting point anyway. And if I feel as though there's fish in the area feeding, but no bites are forthcoming, then I might start changing the depth around. Well, I was all set to get busy with the sloppy spod, but I just had to pop back to the van to grab some extra bits of kit. And when I did so, I noticed there was absolutely loads of fish 2 swims to my left. The wind had died off completely, it was flat calm, and that just enabled me to see that there was absolutely stacks of fish, just 18 inches, 2 foot under the surface. So it looks as though I may have been saved. I don't need to get absolutely clarted up to the hilt in spod mix, because I think the best chance of me getting a bite will just be to cast out single zigs to where these fish are sat. So that's what I'm going to go and do now. So I've just cast out the marker float in this new spot, and it's a little bit deeper than where I was before. It's about 2 foot deeper. So obviously I want to fish my zigs 2 foot higher to get them where the fish are sat. But instead of having to tie my zigs all over again from scratch, all I've done quite simply is just tie a 2 foot section here with a figure of 8 loop knot on either end, which I'll just attach to my original zig, and then there you go, I've just created like an extension. Harry's looking at me like I'm crazy, he's shaking his head, he forgets I'm a tight northerner and I'm not going to waste another 10 foot of line. This does the job just fine. The only time I wouldn't do this is if I was fishing in really weedy situations where the weak spot is going to be the knot. But in open water situations like this, I mean, this is 12-pound zig and floater line. It's as tough as boots. It isn't going to break, and the fish certainly aren't put off by these loops or the knots or anything like that. And Harry's still not having any of it. Trust me, it works. Good zig weather. He's got the right idea over there.
If you were going somewhere now and you got out of the van,
Yeah.
you'd just go zigs.
Like that. Yeah. This is literally practically a rerun of last time, isn't it? When we did that episode 2 at Linear. Except I didn't catch on the top that time. Yeah. But this is what the weather was like then. Damp. A little bit fed up. If you'd let me stay on that first leg we're on, that would have been in the bag by now, and would be dry under a brolly drinking tea. This is just not going to plan at all. It just seems as though that heavy rain we had has just pushed everything down. I'm over on Beck's Lake now, and there's fish showing. There looks to be feeding fish, but they certainly don't appear to be high up in the water. The swim I'm in now, it kind of cuts in this little bay, and there's fish fizzing up there. So they're obviously feeding on the bottom. So to try and catch on a zig, it's just nigh on impossible at the moment. I think so, anyway. I mean, if I was walking in the swim now and I'd seen what I'd seen, then you'd obviously be fishing on the bottom. So to fish zigs, it's going against everything that I know as a carp angler to do. It's just, as you can tell, I'm not very happy. I know it's a non-starter, and I know that I'm just wasting my time doing it, really. It's a couple of hours now before it gets dark. Maybe as we approach dusk, they might be a bit more willing to come up in the water. They won't be. They just won't be, will they? having another change of tactics. Because there wasn't a great deal showing in the upper layers, I've been feeding them with floating pellets for nearly an hour now, and you might be able to see behind me there is actually quite a few fish taking. Now, although I'm not allowed to fish on the surface, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fish a zig just under. It's as close to floater fishing as I can get, which is what I would like to be doing. Close to floater fishing as I can get while sticking within the rules. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep introducing the floaters, get them feeding really well. And when I stop putting the floaters in, I'm hoping the fish will just drop down to look for any other food items that may be sort of within that top foot. Just going to lay the rod on this sedge because it looks quite cool. Well, I've been in the water less than a minute. I was just tying up a rig to put on the second rod, and I never even got a chance to do it. Oh, still on. That worked well, didn't it? Literally, it wasn't even a minute, no. All that frustration earlier, yeah. Oh, I feel very relieved, very relieved. So here we have a very lean, spawned out common. He looks a bit like me after I've been at it for ages. Knackered. And I really did need this fish before it got dark. Talk about timing. That now leaves me with 2 more fish to catch. The next one being on a pop-up. And going into dark, I think there's a very good chance of that happening. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over onto Damsel Lake. I've spent most of the day there unsuccessfully fishing zigs. But while we were there, we did see a lot of fish showing underneath overhanging trees and what have you, and they did look to be feeding. So I know the areas where the fish are feeding on the bottom, so I'm going to slip this fella back, get round there and get some rods in the water before it gets dark.
We need a barbecue.
We need barbecue. Come on then. Well, here we are back over on Damsel Lake, and as you can see, I'm in a little bit of like a corner swim here. There's quite a few overhanging trees behind me and also to my left as well. The reason I've chosen this particular spot is I spent a lot of the day fishing on the opposite bank, and I could see there was a few fish crashing along these trees and in this little bay here. And when I've walked around here, there was a few little fizzes coming up. There was fish feeding here, so it looked a great place to plot up for tonight. Now I've got to catch on a pop-up now, and this is the rig that I've chosen. I'm fishing it on one of the submerged, ready-tied heli rigs. I've got a small 2 3/4 ounce lead on the bottom there. The hook link coming off, well, it's my favourite hinge stiff rig really. The boom section is constructed from 25 Camotex semi-stiff. Then the chod section, that's constructed from 25 Transkhaki rigidity, and that's tied to a size 6 barbless SR hook. The hook bait there is a yellow Northern Special pop-up, and that's just counterbalanced to a small amount of putty, so it just to say sinks, so that the critically balanced hook bait is always going to be pushed away from the lead by the semi-stiff hook link there. So that's the rig. All I need to do now is get it in place, and I'm going to try and swing it underneath this tree just behind me here, right underneath the branches. I'm just putting a few baits over each rod, not many, just enough really to tempt a bite. I'm just using boilies. What I've got here, I've got a mixture of Pacific tuna and Odyssey XXX, and to really sort of crank up the attraction levels and the food signals, I've put in a big glug of liquid tuna extract and tuna LO30, and like I say, that really does sort of max up all the attraction levels, which should hopefully provoke a quicker bite. This cold it suddenly gives me like a superpower, this cold. It gives me the ability to do accents.
Yeah? What other accents?
My Irish is on point, and this morning I could do Chewbacca. It's not really an accent, but it was awesome. Proper Chewbacca raw. I can't do it now, but it was good this morning. You can't make them feed where they don't want to feed. Like I said before, it's like me cooking you your tea, and instead of giving you in the kitchen, saying go outside and eat it in the cold, in the rain. You can't make them do something you don't want to do. Although you probably would still do it because you're quite a submissive person.
Why are you risking wearing a cap backwards after the backlash that you had?
I did get some stick for that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was because I was like trying to like peer into the water and have my hat on backwards, and yeah, people did notice that. I did get a bit of stick, but peaks are for geeks. That's what I say.
I'd rather blank. Not today. I hate this sloppy spotted or the zigs. Hate it.
Why?
I'd literally, if it meant having to spot over zigs or blank, I'd choose the blank. I just hate it. Clarted up to me bollocks and it all. Just hate it.
That's a good one, isn't it?
This brew?
That's a good sophisticated brew, that one.
It's the same brew as the last one you made me, and it's still just weird.
No.
Why are they weird?
It's too sophisticated, I think, for your palate. See, I'm getting like, it's like herby and fruity. It's a sophisticated blend. It's wasted on you. I knew I shouldn't have bothered. That's refreshing, isn't it? Just before you go to bed, it's like, it's refreshing, but it's also soothing. Marks and Spencer's Luxury Gold.
it changes with every sip. Every sip it changes. That's probably because I've left the tea bag in, actually. That maybe is why it was checked. Once again, we haven't really had to wait very long for any action. There he is. Huge fish, but we've got him. Nice, pretty linear. I've just inhaled a massive mozzie or something. Can you like tell the Shall I do that again? I need to get rid of it.
We'll get rid of it
I feel it in the back of my throat. Right. Don't film it. This is a nice, pretty little mirror. And like I said, again, the rods hadn't really been in the water very long at all. About an hour and a half since we made them 2 casts. So that really does just leave me with the task of catching on a bottom bait. It's quite late now, it's approaching midnight. I'm not going to pack up and move lakes now. I'm going to slip this fish back, reel in the other rod, and I'm going to get my head down for some much needed kip. Then I'll get up at first light, well rested, and hopefully I'll be on my A game right then, and then we can get the challenge all wrapped up with a fish on a bottom bait. Doodity-ba, diddly-ba, diddly-da-da-da-do, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-diddly-ba, ba-da-li-doo. Boop bop, babbity boo.
Stop singing if I told you I was recording.
Probably would. I'm only doing it to annoy you as well, that backfired. Well, I'm running a little bit behind, to be honest. I wanted to be at the next lake for first light, but it's now 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm only just really getting everything packed down. There's still time for another cup of tea though. But I want to get all this stuff loaded on the barrow, back in the van. Then we're going to go and check out one of the other lakes. There's 2 more carp lakes we could visit. There's Winters, which is the big fish venue, or there's Boonies, which is the big venue. It's about 16 acres. I haven't actually even seen that lake yet. I don't really know a great deal about the stock. I'm told there is quite a lot of fish in it, but other than that, I don't really know. So let's get a move on, and then we'll go and check them both out. Well, this is Winters Lake, and I've already had a good scout around, and I didn't really see a great deal until I came into this peg, and there's absolutely loads of them. there must be, I don't know, 80% of the stock all sat in this one area. The only problem is that they're all on the surface. If this was only a shallow swim, then it wouldn't be that big a deal really. It would be nothing for them to tip down in a few feet and take a bait. But I doubt I'm that lucky. I've never fished the lake before. I have no idea on the depth, but I have a feeling it's a little bit deeper than that. Now, Harry isn't going to like this. With so many fish up there on the surface and with so many big fish present in this lake, I'm going to have a go for them on the top. I think I would have to be a special kind of idiot to ignore all these fish cruising around and not have a go at them, especially when they go to 40 pounds in here. But there is kind of a little bit of logic to my thinking. We've got an island just to the right, and there's an area of shallow water that I can see the bottom. I can see the birds sort of diving, and they're literally diving straight back up. So it's obviously shallow water up against that island. The wind is pushing onto there as well. If I can drift a few floaters over onto that shallow water, get fish feeding in that shallow water, albeit on the top, then it'll be nothing for them to drop down a couple of feet and take a bottom bait. That's kind of my logic. That's the reason I've given to Harry why I'm going to fish on the surface anyway. So I'm going to go and get my floater bits and bobs and have a go. Who in their right mind would not float a fish when it's like this? I mean, really, come on.
Someone who's got a challenge where they should need.
I know, but it's all about using the right tactics on the day, innit? I think by fishing on the bottom, I think we're setting a bad example to people, really. Yeah. How? I'm getting mugged off royally here, so I've just scaled everything down a bit. I've dropped from the 12-pound zig and floater down to the 9-pound zig and floater hook length. Hook is still a size 10, but I've switched over to a little brown zigger liner, which I think goes some way to sort of mask the hook. I know in the past when it's been when they've just been mopping up all the free offerings and leaving your hook bait, just switching to a brown zigger liner has often brought about quick takes. This isn't going to have a happy ending, is it? I don't know if that is weed, it's just absolutely, there's just no give at all. I don't know if it's gone around a snag or... It just feels really, really solid. Wait all that time for a bite. I'm just have to leave the rod for 5 minutes. Hopefully it'll swim out on its own accord. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. that was predictable. Well, that's wasted a lot of time. I don't know what to say really. Absolutely gutted. They felt a decent fish as well, but I don't know. Yes, and I've wasted a lot of time to sort of rub salt into the wound. I would dearly love to catch one of these off the top, but I think I really do need to concentrate now on getting one on the bottom. I've been tying a few little rigs while I was waiting for that bite, so I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm not sure this swim is the one to do it in now. The wind has changed. It was sort of pushing to the shallow water to my right. It's now on my back. So I think I'm gonna have to, I don't know, move off with my tail between my legs and try and find an area more suitable for fishing on the bottom. Well, Harry had just nipped back to the van, and I couldn't resist having another go, to be honest. It felt wrong leaving after that loss. So I've just made another cast, scaled up this time rather than down, but I'm not going to give this fish an inch. I'm not going to let him get his head down. Now I know that's out there. Again, I can feel it grating and pulling. Come on! Yes! I don't feel as bad now. Doesn't help me pass the challenge in any way, but it makes me feel better. Well, here we are, 22 pounds 7 ounces. It's a lovely long lean common. Probably would have been a good couple of pounds heavier before spawning, but it doesn't really matter. I'm absolutely over the moon with this one. After all that frustration, to finally get some relief feels great, as I'm sure we all know. But it doesn't really help me with this challenge in any way. I still need to catch a fish on a bottom bait, so I'm probably behind schedule now, to be honest, through no one's fault but my own. But I'm quite glad I stuck around for this one. But I'm going to slip him back now, and we're going to go and have a look over on one of the other lakes and try and get this challenge wrapped up. Well, this is Booney's Lake. First time I've even seen it. Kind of as with winters though, there's a lot of fish on the top. The first peg I've come to here, see there's quite a lot of weed on the surface, and there's fish milling around in the weed on the top. But I'm sure we can find a nice area of shallow water in which to drop a rig, and doing that, the fish only have to drop down a short distance to grab a little mouthful of food. So let's go and have a look around and see what we can see. You know, if I pass this challenge, I'm allowed to set you a mini challenge. If I pass, your challenge is to hold on to that electric top wire on the fence for 5 seconds.
No.
Why?
No. Health and safety.
2 seconds.
Health and safety.
Touch it
Health and safety.
with your tongue.
No.
Well,
Health and safety.
well, just let me accidentally push you onto it
as
then.
a Fox employee, that's very irresponsible of me.
I'll think of something else then, I suppose. So this is the peg I've chosen on boonies. As you can see, it's quite weedy, and there are a lot of fish up on the surface. You can see them there just sort of cruising around through all this weed over here. But there is an area of coloured water to the right. There's a few fizzes coming up as well, so I think there is fish still feeding there on the bottom. Because I've got to fish bottom baits, and because the majority of the fish are up in the water, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use solid PVA bag tactics. And inside the PVA bag, I'm going to pack it with real high attract mix. That should hopefully entice any fish that are swimming around mid-water or upper layers down onto the patch of feed, and then hopefully take the hook bait. So that's the plan. Time is against me, so I think I better get a move on. Well, I've got one rod in place, so I thought I'd quickly go through the rig that I'm using. I've got a 3-ounce flat pair inline lead, which I prefer to use when I'm fishing with solid bags. It's much more neat and it fits inside the confines of a PVA bag much better than other lead arrangements, such as like a lead clip or a running lead. And the hook link is just a short 3.5, 4-inch section of 25-pound reflex camo braid. Again, it just folds and fits inside a small PVA bag, much better than if you're using a stiffer material. The hook is a size 6 SSBP barbless hook. We've got a small piece of silicone just over the shank of the hook to secure the hair in place and also create a bit of a blowback effect. And then the hook bait, that is a Pacific tuna glugged hook bait, which is a bottom bait, which is what I need to be using to pass this challenge. So that's it, let's get it all inside a PVA bag and get it on the spot. I can't believe I'm struggling on the bottom. I never struggle on the bottom. I was almost in shock there. I must have beeped about 4 or 5 times. I think we both looked at it thinking, really? And here we are, that was on the recently recast solid bag. It's a really small hole in the weed. I'm not even sure if it's still on, you know. I felt like a little pull. Oh yeah, he's there. That's not ideal. That isn't ideal. Oh, don't come off. Don't come off. Oh, he's kind of gone in and out backwards and oh. Come on, fight your way out of that weed. Because that weed, I can't really get its head. Oh, never. There we go. There we go, there we go. Oh, just. Look at that. Well, that'll be a pass then. You better get ready for your challenge now. Get yourself psyched up to grip all that electric fence. So here we are. This is the one that I needed so badly. Since I've been here at Manor Farm, I've caught fish from 5 other lakes on the complex on 4 different tactics. Caught on the surface, on the zigs,
on a pop-up, and now on the bottom. Obviously, ordinarily, I wouldn't have fished in that particular style. I wouldn't have been chopping and changing. I'd have gone with what would have been the most successful or productive method on the day and stuck with it. But that's a challenge at the end of the day, isn't it? So, all that's left for me to say really is thank you, Paul. Challenge completed, for me at least, because it's now over to Harry, because he's now going to do his little challenge, which I'm going to set for him.
Brilliant.
Okay, Harry, so I've nailed my challenge. Now it's time for yours.
Okay.
This is something I devised as a means of testing your carp fishing skill.
Okay.
Only the carp fishing elite would be able to pass this challenge.
Right. Okay.
I know you like to think of yourself as a very competitive angler. You've fished world championships, you've told me about it. God, have you told me about it. But this is your biggest test to date.
Okay, what is it?
Well, give me a minute, let me prepare, come back and you'll find out.
Right.
Now, we all know that the key to successful carp fishing is a good brew. I myself have a very discerning palate, which is what I think sets me apart from Harry. In fact, I think I could identify any cup of tea, any brand of tea, just by sniffing it. But I'm going to give Harry a bit more of a chance than that. I have here 4 mugs, and I have 4 very popular brands of tea. I'm going to make up 4 mugs of tea. I will know what each mug is. You will know what's in each mug, but can Harry correctly identify each brand of tea? I don't think so. Right, well, the kettle's boiled. In the CC Moore mug, it's going to get good old Yorkshire tea. In the That's Carpy mug, PG. In the Love mug, Tetley. And in the Monkey Climber mug, we have Twinings. I reckon we should give them about that long to brew. To make sure you can really taste the tea, just a splash of milk. There we go. It's time to call Harry back over and see what he can do. Okay, everybody, welcome back, Harry. Here he is. Well done. Hello. Good to see you.
What is this?
I
I thought you were
thought
going to make me do some fishing.
No, you look thirsty. You look dehydrated. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a pick-me-up. Now, I think it's fair to say that during this session, you've moaned quite a bit about my tea making, saying that it's not this, it's not that.
I was more moaning about the tea bags, but yeah, okay.
Well, okay. And I think you said something like, I would rather it be a nice cup of PG, I think you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Seeing as you are such a self-proclaimed connoisseur of tea, I have here 4 mugs of tea. They are 4 very popular brands of tea. I'll tell you what they are. We have Tetley, we have PG, we have Twinings, and we have Yorkshire tea. All you have to do is tell me which tea is which. That is your challenge.
Okay. What happens if I get it wrong?
If you get it wrong, seeing as you are usually overly harsh to me on these challenges, I thought if you get this wrong, I get to play a, how should we say, a joker card on the next challenge. So, if
That's not really how these things work, is it?
well, you make the rules up as you go along. Now I'm the one in control, it's my turn. So let's say, for example, if, I don't know, if I had to catch 5 fish on the next challenge, I get to play my joker, 4 fish. If it's 24 hours, I get to play a joker, 36 hours.
Right, well, I'm not very happy about it, but
Well,
there's got
I know
to be
that
a
feeling.
stipulation. Right, let's just get it over and done
Okay,
with.
I have them all wrote down.
Do I have to shout it out straight away, or can I go through?
You're more than welcome to go through them all the time in the world.
Tetley, English breakfast, Yorkshire, PG.
Well done, you managed to get them all wrong.
Oh,
Monkey Climber was Twinings.
right, okay.
The Love Mug was Tetley. The Carpy Brew Time mug was the PG, and the CC Moore one.
See, I
was
said those
Yorkshire.
ones tasted exactly the same, so it was like a 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got it wrong. Yeah.
You got it wrong. So there you go. That gives me a bit of a lifeline for the next challenge. Hopefully, I won't need it. We'll see you then. Yeah. If you'd like to watch more of my challenge videos, then click the link here. Or if you'd like to subscribe to Fox Fishing TV, then click the link here.
That was good.